Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Today's video is going to be so interesting. Like, it's not really something that I talk much of on my channel, and I kind of want to get it out there and spread it along YouTube and raise kind of awareness that you're not alone and that other people such as myself go through kind of these phases of three topics that I'm going to be speaking about today. So I'm going to keep this video as raw as possible and kind of lay off the editing and kind of just get it out there how it is, because I feel like I'm sick of coming on and trying to act like, so today I'm kind of just going to go with the flow and get it out there and not give a F what like I say, because it's the truth. To be honest guys, I decided to do this video because I've been relating to a lot of what I'm going to be talking about today lately. And what I'm going to be talking about is three topics, guys. It's going to be loneliness, anxiety, and failed friendships. Now, I have seen a few of these videos on YouTube already, and they're so interesting. Like, if anyone's going to watch them, it's definitely me, because as I said already, I can relate to them so much. And not only that, like, before was so much different than now, because since I moved here, since I've been living alone, it's kind of affected my like day-to-day life more, as when I moved in here it's kind of getting worse. So yeah, basically I'm gonna come on and talk about loneliness, because I'm just gonna tell you, wow, I lived at home. I was living in a house that was a 4-bedroom at the time. Then my parents moved to 3-bedroom, and there was always a lot of people. Like, there was always like my mother, my father, my brothers, my sisters, there was cousins in, there was everyone in my house, you know what I mean? There was always someone there to speak to, and I was never even a girl that would be at home alone, whereas my parents would go away and I'd be left in the house. It wasn't even never like that, which is so weird. But I moved out, I obviously had my daughter, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna jump right into the deep end and just take life as it is and go my own way and make a life for me and my daughter. So that's what I done. So not only did I kind of move away, I moved away to a place where is kind of in the middle of nowhere, to be straight out about it, and I was thrown in the deep end, but obviously that was my own decision. I was never forced to leave. Now, when I moved into the apartment, I was with my baby's father at the time. Now, I'm not going to go into that because that's like, I want to keep that side of things personal, and yeah, basically. So I moved in with him, and yeah, it was good. Like, the company, obviously I love the company and everything like that, but he's not here at the minute, and again, I'm not going to go into that. So it's been me and the baby here for practically since I moved in here, just me and her. And it was grand at the beginning, I suppose, because he was here and my baby's dad. And when you're moved into a new apartment, new place, you're kind of excited and you've no time to kind of leave anything get to you, or you don't have time to kind of even think. You're just so busy organizing things and getting settled in and buying things online and whatnot. So that was grand, like, but I do remember the day that I did move in here, my parents waved me off, and like, that was it. Like, that was my final goodbye to them, from living at home to living in my own apartment. And that really hit home. Like, that was so bad. Like, I'll never forget that. And especially my first night in the apartment as well, I shat myself, if I'm very honest about it. Like, I felt so alone that night. But then again, as time went on, I was just so busy, I hadn't time to think about anything that's like being lonely towards that. So now I'm going to go onwards, and I'm just going to tell you lately what we have been feeling and why I'm making this video. And guys, like, I'm going to try and not even edit, so I'm going to try and keep it as raw as possible until it stops and I have to edit parts into this video. But lately, the past couple of days, I've just felt like a cloud of loneliness just overtaking me, and like constant reminders, and I feel so lonely. Like, I'm in a really dark spot, and to be honest, I'm not, like, I try and not like get myself worked up, because I don't want to be depressed, because I know depression can be a really bad phase to get into. Like, I've been depressed before and I kind of want to get over it. I don't want to be depressed here. Like, it would be bad enough being depressed anywhere else, but here, definitely not. I can't go down that road. So yeah, I've been feeling a lot lonely lately, and I suppose I've been feeling that because I've recently made changes in my life where I know that are for the better, and I kind of have to lay off like being around certain people. Like, for example, I'm just going to get it out there. I'm with my family. I spend like, okay, a week. I spend half of the week here and half the week where my family live, and since I moved into the apartment, it's been like that. I don't want it to be like that anymore, like, because there's a lot of changes happening, and I could go back to my family and stay whenever I want, but I depended on that, and like I constantly depended on that, and I don't want to be like that anymore. I kind of want to have a full week in the apartment where I am, and kind of, instead of going back to my parents and spending a lot of money like shopping and everything there, I've decided to stay at home and kind of plan my own trips, like day trips out with the baby, and that way we can socialize together like alone, and that's like important as well. So the way I've been feeling the past couple of days, as to be honest, I have kind of like had a moment where I'm a bit like I'm sobbing, and I'm like, Nikki, get your shit together, like stop, because if you go down that road, like you're fucked, you're not going to get out of it. The reason why I've kind of let this trigger at me, it's kind of constantly there the past couple of days, as well as that, is because my baby's father, he, like, I'm not going to go too deep into, I don't like talking about my personal life, like relationship wise and all on this, but he's not going to be around for like a little while, and I'm not going to see him for a little while, as well as that, like, that's me being completely honest, and I know that I'm not going to see him today or tomorrow. So that's kind of getting to me, because whereas before, like, he'd ring and he'd be here, do you know what I mean, like he would be here within an hour. So I'm kind of thinking now, like, okay, this is it. But yeah, I can't like exactly tell you when I'm not gonna feel lonely again, like when sorry, I know where my brain is, like when I'm not, like, do you know the way I'm feeling lonely now, I don't know when that's gonna stop, where I'm kind of feeling comforted, if that makes sense. Anytime I get off, I feel so much better, but I notice it's the days where I'm stuck in, I don't go anywhere, I sit down, I pause, and I think. So yeah, guys, I've made those changes, and I think that like in the next couple of weeks I will overcome them, but I will keep you all updated. And that was my life when I moved here. I used to go to my family. Now I want to lay off, and I just want to kind of do my own thing. And as well as that, my family do call, but they wouldn't always call, but I know now that they will be calling like much more, because like every week I was back there, and now I'm kind of like, you know what, I need to stay at home and kind of be alone and know what it's like as well. And you know what, guys, it's really important in life to like experience being alone as well, because if you're constantly with people, like, that's also a bad thing, like such as for me, because I'm on here now complaining and telling you how my life used to be, and it's kind of like the opposite now, where I'm alone constantly, and it's not a good feeling. But as I said, in the next couple of weeks I will overcome it, and it is for the better. And I just want to say as well that my advice to you is just to kind of get out there and socialize as much as possible, because even if it's for a walk, like, there's days now where I feel like totally so lonely, and I will get out of the apartment even if it's for an hour to go to my sister's, or even go anywhere, like just get out there. And like, you meet people along the way as well where they're really nice, even if they say hello, like that's like, that's really comforting as well. So it's weird, it's crazy, like, but you'll meet people along the way and you'll be really, really happy that you did. And just get out there, stop making yourself go down like a really lonely path in life. Try and kind of socialize and get out there. Like, I'm just thinking, if it was just me living here, like, I wouldn't last 5 minutes, because my daughter keeps me going. She's constantly with me, she keeps me on my feet, and I'm just so blessed. So that's topic number 1 completed, done and dusted. I just wanted to get that out my chest. That's what way I've been feeling. As I said already, I was always used to being around a crowd of people, and it went from being the opposite. So now I'm surrounded with just a tiny little human being that keeps me busy, and I'm just blessed, as I said again. So the advice I can give you guys, get up, get out there, and just do your thing. Like, even if it's for a walk, just get out there and clear your mind. Don't just sit there depressed and make yourself worse. The best thing you can do is meet up with a friend, family member, whatnot. I'm not coming on here saying that I'm never going to see my family again. Jesus Christ, not a hope. I'm not saying that by any means. I will see my family more than likely every week again. they'll probably be calling to me, which is a good thing as well, because they're getting out, and that wasn't like the case. It was where I was always getting out and they didn't have a chance to call to me. So that is enough about the loneliness side of things. Now I'm going to be moving on to anxiety. And guys, anxiety is like worse, I keep saying worse, that's not a word, worse than the way I've been feeling with loneliness. Now this is a really touchy topic, and I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm sorry if the video is long, you can exit out if you want. I'm not gonna really edit much of this, but I'm gonna tell you my experience with anxiety. I won't talk like too much into it, but a couple of weeks back, I didn't tell anyone on my channel or my socials about this, but I had an anxiety attack, and it was the first, I think actually the second anxiety attack that I ever had, proper anxiety attack like. So it happened a couple of weeks ago. Guys, if you want me to do a video on that, I'd be more than happy to do it. Just request it down below, but it's kind of such a long kind of topic, like story to tell. So request it down below if y'all would like to see that. But yeah, anxiety, guys, I've always had it. I've always felt it in my body, literally. I always felt like a fear factor. Something was always holding me back. I always was a huge panicker. And just everything kind of battled at me in life. Like, I just felt so much different than a lot of people, especially like when I was younger. I hung around with a lot of people that were more forward than me. I was always the one that was laid back, and I didn't like it. I felt like when I drink or whatever, it would help. Like, I'd be a different person. I would totally be the opposite than what way I would be when I wouldn't have drink down me. So drink kind of solved that when I was younger, and hanging around with people that were really like kind of wild and like bubbly and all for life, like they kind of made me better as well. So hanging around with people like that when you've anxiety can like help big much as well, which I was so grateful for. But yeah, I always knew I had anxiety. I'll tell you how I kind of found out like properly that I had it. By the way, guys, I just want to let you all know I don't take anything for anxiety. I have seen my doctor about it. I have spoken about it to my doctor. But yeah, I will not be taking anything for it. I just feel like I'm in a place in my life where I'm alone with a child that's very young, and I don't want to kind of go down that road taking pills. Obviously, some people have anxiety like so bad that they need pills in like their daily life, but for me, I've been coping a long time without it, and I just I wouldn't go there, to be honest. Like, if it got really, like, if it got worse than it already is, like, yeah, like, give me them, like. But I kind of surround myself with people that would be there to support me before it would kind of, you know, if I could take them longer. Because when you take them first, there is like symptom, like, what is it, side effects. There is side effects, which my doctor told me, and I would recommend counseling before you go on pills as well as that, because counseling can really help as well. I've never seen a counselor before for anxiety, but I will be kind of looking into it. I would like sometime down my life, like down the road, I would like to look into it. So getting back anyhow about my anxiety, I found out I had anxiety when I was pregnant. It's so weird, so strange, like that is like cracked. Like, when I was pregnant, I found out I had anxiety. Well, I was told, that's when I was told I had it. But I always knew, I always felt it. I always seen these quotes on Facebook, on social media, where I could relate to it. I'd read it in my head and I'm like, yeah, that's me. Like, that is so me. I can relate to that. That's the person that I am. That's what I go through. But yeah, I got told that I had anxiety because when you're pregnant, you kind of have like a doctor that speaks about a lot of topics to when you're carrying your baby. And one day she asked me, did I have anxiety? And you know what? It always triggered on me. I always felt ashamed to talk to a doctor. And this was over 2 years ago, guys. And she said, you have anxiety? And I was like, well, I was never told that I have it. I was never diagnosed with it, but I think I have it. And she turned around to me and she goes, well, what is anxiety? And I told her what I thought of anxiety, what it is. And she said to me, like, you have it, you have anxiety. So that's how I kind of knew. Again, obviously, I'm not coming on here saying that I have the worst case of anxiety, because there is people that have it so bad, again, as I mentioned, that are on medication and that can be on really like strong medication for anxiety, and it can really fuck over them, like up their social life. And yeah, like let me tell you what happened with me. After I had my daughter, I went worse. Like I had it bad. Now, me saying that I had it bad, guys, when I wasn't pregnant, as again, I always knew I had it because I would always be afraid to walk the shop by myself, even past people, like say hello to them, look at them in the face. If people came towards me, I'd always put my head down. I was just such like a shy girl, and along with the shyness came anxiety, and I just always had it in my head, like passing this person out, they're going to look at me and they're going to judge me and they're going to think, oh, look at her hair, look at her makeup, oh, what is she wearing? That's what I had in my head. That was buried into my head, and that's what I hated so much. So I'd stay in home. And I remember when I was younger, like a couple of years before I got pregnant, I would stay in home. I'd be in my pajamas all day. I wouldn't get dressed, and I would literally at night time at about 2 o'clock in the morning, I would comfortably, I'd go downstairs and I'd bring up whatever snacks and food that was in the cupboards, and I'd bring them upstairs to my bedroom, and I would just snack away. I'd stay awake all night, and I would just stay in bed the following day, and I do the same thing on repeat over and over again. So that was a really bad lifestyle as well for me. Like, it wasn't good, it wasn't healthy. That kind of put me back as well, where I didn't want to go outside, and I was just in a really, really bad place. And there is a lot more topics that I'd like to talk about on my channel, which would be my weight, and like about my weight as well, my journey with my weight and how it has affected me. And look, I know I'm not the skinniest girl, but to me, like back then, I felt like the skinniest girl. So yeah, I'm not going to go too much into that. I will explain that in another video, and again, request that down below. But getting back to the part, when I had my daughter, I felt like, you know, when you're a mother, guys, if you are a mother, when you become a mother, you're going to know that you need to get out, you need to socialize, you need to get your baby out. You kind of want to get out there and be around other mothers as well. And it's good to be around other mothers because you get advice from them, and you want to get your baby out. You don't think of yourself as much anymore. You think of your baby, because it's even good to bring the baby out to get air, and, you know, even for a little stroll, a little walk or whatever. So I always had that in my head, that I don't want to be a bad mother. I don't want to be condemned. I want to get out. Like, I want to get out there and do little things with her. But when she was younger, all I could really do was bring her out, like, for a little stroll in her pram, because she was young. Like, there wasn't really much that I could do with her. Sorry guys, I'm talking really fast, but I'm trying to make this video, like, you know, as raw as possible. And I know it's long, it is really long, but again, if you're not interested, click out. Basically, so getting back to it, it's when I had my daughter, it kind of got worse for me. And by saying that, like, I did try, I thought of her, I put myself, like, put her above myself, put myself back. But saying that, since I moved into the apartment, this is when it all kind of went bad for me. Like, when I moved into the apartment, my anxiety touched the ceiling. Like, it went so bad. When I mean bad, guys, like, I don't know, like, it's like paranoia and anxiety together. And people might be watching this and they might be laughing, or they might be having a little skit and they might be like, oh, she's cracked in the head. But my anxiety is that bad now, where I'm living alone. I'm worse than I ever was. I go to bed at night, I get really bad paranoia, where if I hear my phone ringing, I'm thinking of the worst, because I'm not around family. I'm thinking something like really happened that was bad. If my phone goes off, it could be 5 o'clock in the morning, like, if I'm awake, I'll look at my phone. And every night I go to sleep and it's just like constant fear, 24/7. I think of all thoughts as well of my child, like, it's just me and her. God forbid, touch wood, if anything ever happened to her, like, how would I go on in life? How would I live? And just all these things have been triggering at me. And when I moved into the apartment, I know I keep saying when I moved in, but guys, you have to understand, that's when things took a toll for me. Like, they switched up, they went so bad. I'm going to do this as a story time, but a few weeks ago, I was in the apartment with my daughter alone, and nobody else was here. And I got a very bad pain in my chest, which I thought was my heart at the time. And I had an anxiety attack. There was ambulance, paramedics. Like, I was like in a phase. I was like, Jesus Christ, what is going on? Like, this is not like me. So yeah, I live in the middle of nowhere, and the weather was so bad there was an ambulance call back. So guys, I just clicked off there. I had to. My daughter was crying. She had a little nightmare. Something happened because she woke up crying, and yeah, so I just have her with me. She's going to be a little company in the video. Do you want to say hi? Say hi? Oh, the lights in her eyes. So yeah, getting back to that, yeah, the ambulance did come, paramedics was here. I was shitting bricks. It was really new to me. But yeah, that's how much like living alone has caused my anxiety to become a lot worse, and it's something that I'm still going through. I have to do a video on this, guys, like even if it's not requested, because I want to tell you how bad it is with the pains I get. And I'd usually get pains like every now and again, like, and these pains trigger to become worse, which was worse. I had an anxiety attack. So that is my experience with anxiety. Do you have any tips? The tips that I can give, guys, is kind of don't leave it eat you up. Like, just get out there, overcome it. To be honest, if you leave it overtake your life, like, you're fucked altogether, like, you know. I've kind of learned it the hard way. I remember when I first moved here, I used to go out and do my shopping. I was so proud of myself, and I'd always be like, you know, I'm mortal. Like, I don't want to go out. These people's going to see me. They'll be looking down on me because I'm young looking. I have a child, even though I'm 23, but a lot of people think I look really young. So yeah, just get out there. Don't leave it eat you up. Like, get out there, do your thing. And also, there is ways to overcome anxiety. I have, to be honest, it's been a couple of weeks since I had an anxiety attack, but I've watched videos, like recent videos, where I've seen girls talk about it and they give really helpful tips. So I would recommend searching up a few videos and also watch this away, and like find out for yourself ways to help it. I do know a way to help it would be, I seen one girl mention, which I'm gonna kind of take on board and do it the next time around, which I hope there'll never be a next time, but I will be, if it ever is the case, where you count to 10 in your head and you take deep breaths and then you count from 10 to 1, so backwards. So I think that's going to be like a really helpful one. And I think when you're going through a phase of anxiety, don't like panic, because if you panic like I did, you're screwed. Like, you are so screwed. So take it easy, relax while it's happening, deep breaths and count, and you'll be grand. And also, there is counselling out there for anyone that is really badly affected by anxiety. And again, guys, as I did mention at the start, I haven't went to counselling, but if it does get worse than it already is, then I'm definitely going to have to see somebody. So I'm going to stop there on the anxiety part of things. If you do want that video, request it down below. It's a really important story time for me to kind of come on and talk about something that I went through, and it's not a laugh, or it's not a laughing matter, it's not a joke, it's real, it's raw, it happened, and it's something that I've never actually went through. So I'd love to speak about that to you all, and some of you can probably relate to me. So yeah, now we're going to talk about failed friendships. So I had so many friends growing up. Like, I grew up, my phone is ringing, guys, so I just clicked out because I had to cancel that call. But yeah, I get back to the topic about friends. I had so many friends growing up. Like, I wasn't a popular girl, but I would talk to the wall literally, and it was never a problem where, like, it was never like how a person looked or their race or anything like that. That never bothered me. Like, that is something that is so bad for people to judge people by. Like, I was never that person, so I would literally talk to the Pope if I could. And growing up, when I was in school, I wasn't popular. Like, I'm not going to say I was popular. I was kind of in between. Like, I wasn't like, I could talk to people. I was talking to people that were normal, and then the popular people, if that makes sense. And in school, I had like a lot of friends in school, and then I had friends that were outside of school, and I would always go out after school, and I'd always have a little buddy to go out to, and I loved that so much. When I was young, like, I was a lot wilder than, like, I'm not wild now, Jesus Christ, but I kind of had a good life, and I lived life like the way any teenager could, and I don't regret anything. I had really good friends growing up, and they're friends that I classed as sisters. So yeah, those people today, we don't really socialize. We've seen each other, we'd say hello, but I think with friendships, guys, when you're in school, you meet so many people and you're kind of stuck with them 24/7, like what, 9 hours a day for 5 days in a week, and you're with them constantly. So you kind of are like in an attachment with them, and you know your squad, if that makes sense. But then when you leave school, for me, when I left school, it kind of took a little turnover. When I left school at a young age, like I was about 16, and then I went on to a youth ridge, which is a smaller kind of learning place where you kind of do the same as you would in school, but it's oh, it's really hard to explain, but it's basically like school. And people that I hung around with were in that like building, the place where I went to learn more. So yeah, it's called Youth Ridge. So I was always surrounded with people that were my friends, and I loved that so much. I loved the way, like, I even had friends when I was younger that weren't in my school, but they were in a different school, but I also had friends that were in my school, if that makes sense. But then when I went to Youth Ridge, those people that weren't in my school, like my secondary school, they were in Youth Ridge, so then we got time to be together as well. And I loved that so much. I used to love the crack that we used to have. But I think as you grow on, like in life, you grow up like a lot. You grow up so much, and I am such a different person. Like I've said it before on my channel, as I used to be years ago. Like I'm so different now, more mature, I have responsibility, and life is just, it's a lot boring, if I'm honest. When you're younger, like you're just crazy. You're all about life. But now it's kind of like, things are very basic, and I suppose I've my childhood to look back on, and I'm grateful. I've no regrets. But yeah, things started changing when I was about 17ish. So to be honest, guys, I had friends I loved. I will always love them, and I had like about two best friends. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is kind of really deep to me, but one of those best friends I lost. So she died recently, which is devastating. It's so sad. So yeah, those two girls was my best friends, and I love those girls. Jesus Christ, we went down roads, we had memories, like literally we were like sisters. We were literally like sisters. But kind of went a time where we wouldn't hang out, we wouldn't see each other every day, and they'd start kind of hanging around with different people. And as you grow older, you can kind of fall into a different crowd as well, and that's really understandable. Like, because you can go to a workplace, or you can go anywhere. You can walk to a shop and you can find a different friend. You know what I mean? You could pull up chatting to somebody and you become friends. But yeah, it went in a way where we kind of went our separate ways. Now these two girls was my best friends, and like I think in the way as well, a lot of boys can get in the way of friendships. So for example, if you had a best friend, I went through this my own self, like where I had a best friend and she went with a lad and she'd always be with him, and it all changes because she doesn't want to come out as much as she used to, and she wants to be with that lad more, which is a shame in a way. And then there can be times where people are going to be interested on doing things that you might not be in. So yeah, you can be like so similar but yet so different, and that can kind of trigger, and that can cause like problems, and people can kind of drift away from being close to a person by going through that. So yeah, I had friends that were kind of a bit different, and they kind of went their own way, and as well as that, like I was no angel, I went my own way myself. I decided, guys, that I would stay in home more and not go out, because we used to be out 24/7 hanging about, and we'd be getting up to all sorts. So I had a really good childhood, and those people kind of, they settled down as well, they did. But it was really understandable, because as you grow older, you do kind of come to terms with things, and you're like, you know what, like this isn't for me anymore, and I'm going to do such a thing differently. And people around you will meet different people, and you will as well. You could even grow up to have a best friend, and you might gain another best friend. Like you could switch. Basically how my friendships went, how they turned out, what it was like when I was younger with friendships. And I'm just going to say it straight out, like I have to say that Jesus Christ, like those girls like meant the world to me, and they always will, and we'll always share those special times or moments and everything. But I'm at a stage in my life where if I needed someone to speak to or turn to, I actually have nobody. Do you know what, guys? That's okay. I'm used to being alone now at this stage. Like, it's been a couple of years where I haven't had any friends by my side, and I do love those girls, and I always will, and they mean the world to me. To be honest, like, we were like sisters at one stage. But I've learned to live a life where I would just need myself and my family, and that's not a bad thing. It's really not, because people move forward in life and they don't always like stay friends. And like, I don't mean like, oh, fully not talk. I mean as in like, people can still like respect each other and have that kind of, you know, kind of friendship going on, but they might not be as close, and that's understandable. Like, shit happens, and people kind of change and go through a different phase, different part in life, and that definitely happened to me. Like, I'm not fully blaming my friends. We were all kind of different as we grew older, and we wanted different things, and yeah, basically. So I'm going to end the video here, guys. I hope you found that video helpful. If you did, please like it, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Helps my channel out so much as well as that. And if you did find this video helpful, and I did kind of bring up a few touches where I'm like, I need to talk about this one and that one, request them down below, because it really does help me. Like, it helps me get what needs to be said out there more. And yeah, that's basically it for today, guys. I know this is a long video, but if you got to the end of it, I really respect you. And it wasn't easy editing it either, because it was so long and my storage was getting all taken up. So, and also my daughter is, do you want to say bye? She's here and she'd like to say bye. Bye. Do you want to say bye? We shall all see you in my next video, guys. Bye.